Hello. Yes. My name is Mohammad Islam. I am an engineer at Yahoo. Welcome to Oozie presentation. What I did, I actually scheduled my presentation this way. Oozie is a scheduler. My schedule is like this. Like first, I want to go ahead with what is the problem that Oozie is trying to resolve, what is and how it is trying to solve it, what is its current status. Then I will go ahead with the new features that has been added to Oozie. Then I will discuss some of the challenges that we are currently facing and what is our future plan. I will end up with a QA session. Let's first look into the cases that what is the problem that we are trying to resolve. We first try to address the most common use case that exists in most of the data processing application. In a common or in a typical data processing application, there could be multiple MapReduce jobs, couple of peak jobs, couple of Hive jobs, and some of the jobs might not fit into the Hadoop. It is a plain Java code. It might be some script also. So, but there is some dependencies are there. They are somehow related to each other to achieve a common goal of the application. So Oozie is providing an infrastructure by providing a workflow layer where people can specify their dependencies of the graph, dependencies of the jobs. We call it a DAG, or direct acyclic graph of jobs. So those are the things we are providing as a Oozie base features. It is being introduced in Oozie 1.x. Then we actually build another layer on top of Oozie workflow that actually addresses, it is called Oozie coordinator. It addresses the use cases where people might want to run their application based on time or fixed frequency. There is another close analogy is there for Unix cron job, those types of functionality. We try to address it in Oozie coordinator. More importantly, we try to introduce also another dependency we called data dependency. It means I have a time dependency, that's good. Every hour I need to run my application, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. In addition, I want to make sure my 1 o'clock workflow should start, or 1 o'clock job should start if my dependent data is available. If the dependent data is not there, do not start my application, hold it, and look for my data need to be available at that time. When the data will be available, start my application. So that is being introduced in Oozie 2.x. Then we introduce another layer that is in our new or latest release. We call it a bundle. This use case is a little bit of different type of things, like from operation perspective, for a very large data processing applications. Large means they might have hundreds of coordinator application. Generally, it exists in a data pipeline application. So for this, managing these hundreds of coordinator applications, it is very hard for a operation people or service engineering team. They have to go for example, to start this 100 coordinator job, they have to go for 100 different commands. So in place of that, if we can provide another layer that will combine all of these 100 coordinator jobs into one layer that we are calling it a bundle, and they will tell that, okay, start my bundle. That will actually internally, Oozie will take care of that to starting it. We want to stop it. We want to pause it to upgrade, or what type of operation, whatever operation you have. So it is a single point of click that, okay, you can start it, stop it. So it will make the operation people life very easy. I should mention one important thing. That is, this bundle layer is optional. If you do not have a use case, if you have a couple of coordinator jobs, you don't need this bundle layer. So these are actually optional. I just mentioned some of the user-facing features, like Oozie 1.x is workflow, Oozie coordinator is 2, Oozie 2, and bundle is Oozie 3. Next, I want to bring up some of the features, and in this layer, actually, I want to show like all these things in a one point. Like it is a bird's eye view of Oozie. You can consider it. So as I already mentioned, the bundle maintain a one or more coordinator job, and every coordinator job actually maintain one or more coordinator action. This is a new terminology I used. What is coordinator action means? Coordinator job is a very timed and long-running job. It has a frequency, like every hour. So first coordinator action is for 1 o'clock, for example. The second one is for 2 o'clock. There could be 3 o'clock one. There will be third action there. So when my data dependency will meet, it will spawn or it will start the workflow job. That workflow job will in turn actually run the DAG of the job that is associated with that. So here is some color coding I use in a meaningful way, like all the blue color that I used here is a static concept that user actually specify it. And all the greenish color things that is started by and maintained by Oozie server process. So those are coming and going and controlled by Oozie. The same figure could be looked into in different angle from data model point of view. For example, there is a one-to-one relationship from a bundle to the coordinator job, and there is one-to-one relationship from coordinator job to the coordinator action. However, there is a one-to-one relationship between coordinator action to the workflow job. And obviously, there is a one-to-one relationship from workflow job to the nodes. Now look into from a different perspective. These are not directly related to the user features, but these are very important for the server to run in the productions. So what we do actually, I am trying to explain a couple of top items that we incorporate in our 3.x Oozie. So one of the common problems that we hear from our user that Oozie is slow. This same sentence is complained in our internal Yahoo. People are telling our Oozie is slow. People are telling the same problem in a different manner, but all boils down to the same point. Oozie is slow. My job is not running, did not start on time. A lot of different ways they explain it. So we identified nearly 90% of the Oozie support incidents is related to this problem. Then we dig into there. We try to isolate the root cause of the problem. We find out there is two issues there. One is a user perspective, another one is our design perspective. So user perspective is that it is multi-tenant system. So different user has a different criteria, different use cases. We find it out some users are submitting a job, and their job is not running, and they are not progressing at all. They don't care because they find out the error, they submit another one by fixing the bug of their application. So what happened? Their first job is still running in the system and consuming the Oozie resources. And Oozie is not taking care of that job. Oozie is still thinking this job is a very good job, I need to take care of this one. So this type of, we find out a lot of such jobs are running in the Oozie in the production when this type of problem is reported. At the same time, on our design perspective, we have some internal task queue where we actually put all of our little tasks that we need to do internally. What happens? That task queue becomes overflowed for this type of extra jobs. In addition, due to our bad design, we are not enforcing the uniqueness. What does it mean? That the same task is being queued multiple times in the internal queue. And that is our bad design. I should accept it. So what we did as the regulations, we are trying to be little rigid. That means the user can submit a job, and a lot of jobs are becoming active for the same job and running and not progressing. So what we do, we introduce a throttling mechanism. That means per coordinator, there could be only 20 jobs can be active at any point. So this throttling is reducing the number of active jobs. At the same time, some job, if we see that it is not progressing at all for a long time, for example, 7 days it is not progressing at all, we put the job in the timeout state. So we are taking care of that. We are hard on the user now. So at the same time, we also change our internal design where built-in queue uniqueness is there. So that means same command cannot be queued multiple times. And we find it out after taking these steps, the support call is reduced substantially. There is another such case is there that in coordinator job, when it's running through its lifetime, and it is running for a long time, it has a different status is there, like running, killing, killed, or different states are there, succeeded, failed, those type of status are there. However, and unfortunately, we find it out that some of the status is confusing to the user, and the user is complaining about that. Two such example is this. We have a state called succeeded. Users see on their UI, their job is succeeded. However, when they go and see all their dependent jobs, like 1 o'clock jobs, 2 o'clock job, some of the jobs even didn't started yet, or they might be failed. So people are coming, okay, I can see my job is succeeded, but when I deep down in the my dependent jobs, I found out they didn't even started. What is the reason? The same way, actually, pre-matter, there is another state. It is expected to be a Oozie internal state. It is not supposed to surface to the user. However, in some instance, it is coming up. What is this pre-matter? I don't want to explain because it is so internal to Oozie, not to confuse. But our user is seeing this status. So obviously, the resolution is try to redesign the status of coordinator job. So this is the problem we saw that. If you see that this pre-matter states and succeeded states is the problem, and in our new proposed design, we actually short-circuited this state, take it out pre-matter, it is internal, and then we added a new state pause that is for different purpose. Then we added a few end states there, and in our new meaning is killed mean all of my dependent jobs actually killed. Succeeded means all of my dependent jobs actually succeeded to run in the Hadoop. Failed means the same, but done with error has a different meaning, like some of my dependent jobs actually succeeded, somebody failed, somebody being killed. So all of the combination is we reported as done with error. However, the pause has a different meaning. This has a for different use case. Coordinator job is a long-running job. Some people is submitting a one coordinator job to run for 1 year. So what will happen? They need to run update their application, update their jar file, update their all this configuration also. So to do it, they need to pause their processing. So that's why we are adding a pause state that people can tell, okay, pause my processing. So whatever being created, let's drain those processing. When everything will be drained, I will upgrade my application, and I will tell Oozie to start from there. So this is for different reason. So these are our new features and what are our existing features. Now let's look into some of our historical things. What happened to our second year? So in this last second year, we find it out we have 3 feature releases. They are big feature releases, and we have 9 patches over there. So in addition, we try to enforce strongly backward compatibility. So far, we upheld that motto in our system. There is another things we improve in our Oozie system, that is, if Oozie restarted, people does not need to resubmit their job. It used to. Now Oozie is taking care of that. Oozie is keeping their states in such a way that if it is restarted, it can reprocess the job from the state that it left. That code overhaul is another thing that actually those are internal things for Oozie. That is, if we redesign some code infrastructure by using some command pattern. This is for developers. It is open source project, so people are coming from different angle. They're adding their code, they're adding a new class. We are creating such infrastructure in such a way that there will be less likely they will do the common mistake. For example, database connection pool leak. If they're taking a connection, they forget to release it. So those type of error will not happen. Although this is very internal, but actually we consider that it is a big thing, and we spend a lot of resources for this work. Then there is another thing, actually, how Oozie is being accepted in the internal Yahoo, and it is being used externally also. So I just put some numbers here by looking into our uses. So internally, there are nearly totally 377 users were there, and total number of processed jobs is on average 6,000 jobs per month. Externally, it is very hard to quantify that how it is being used externally. People are taking and downloading it from outside. But however, we found it out from the GitHub side. We have a 15,000 download happens in last 8 months. And I should also mention there is a lot of third party like Cloudera. They are packaging Oozie in their distro. And that number, we don't know actually how it is being used. But we got a feeling that it is being extensively being used there. There is another thing also in the user community, and that is the contributors and the user also. Internally, we find it out, we have a user group, Yahoo internally. There is nearly 265 members are there, active members are there. Externally, there is 163 external user is actually participating there. From the message traffic, we find it out there nearly 9 per day on average internally, and externally means outside, nearly 7 users are using it per day. Now let's look into our future, that what is the challenge we are facing in our current Oozie and that we are trying to address in our future releases. And I have some hidden agenda to specify this one, that I want to ask help from the people who might have faced the same challenges on their same other product. So we can leverage their knowledge to incorporate these features into Oozie. So one of the features is actually data availability. That means in coordinator, we are checking the data availability. That means whether my data is there or not. What happened currently, we check the data is there or not. After 1 minute, if it is not there, after 1 minute, we are checking it again. That means we are doing polling. That actually is not a scalable solution. So the reason we designed this very obvious non-scalable solution, because there is no such system that can notify us when data is available. I should mention the scalability means actually currently there is no such issue, but actually it is expected to when somebody is using 200,000 jobs per hour they want to process through Oozie, there will be potential scalability issue will be there. So we are trying to address this issue earlier, and we are planning to use H catalog that is coming up, that is a metadata systems, and they have a built-in notification mechanism, and we are planning to use those mechanisms into Oozie, and we are trying to integrate that in Oozie. Then there is another issue is Hadoop services like name node and job tracker. What happened, name node and job tracker could be down for different reasons. There might be upgrade, there might be downtime, for different reasons it could happen. Currently what happened, that Oozie is trying to submit the job multiple times, retry, failed. And user need to come up and take care of this and resubmit those jobs. Consider a scenarios that on Friday afternoon, before leaving, you are submitting a set of jobs to Oozie and expecting that on Monday morning, you will get all of your data back and you will decide something. However, on weekend, there is some upgrade happen and Hadoop was not available for some time. Due to that, your job is not being submitted and you didn't get your data. And now you have to wait another couple of days to get your final data. So this is not an acceptable solution for a user perspective. So from the Oozie layer, we are trying to minimize this impact. How we can do that? We are planning that Oozie will somehow identify we are planning to identify that, okay, like Hadoop is down, name node is down, job tracker is down. So what we'll do, Oozie will stop submitting the job. Oozie will not submit the job when Oozie name node is down or job tracker is down. And then Oozie need to know that they are back. When they will identify something is back, they will resubmit those jobs that they hold it. Another important piece is actually here, like before Hadoop is down, Oozie might have submitted 10 or 100 jobs. So there might be some 100 jobs that status is not being updated to the Oozie yet. And those are lost in the Hadoop. So what we are planning to do actually, Oozie will somehow track those jobs and resubmit those jobs also on behalf of the user. So user does not need, user intervention will be not required in these types of scenarios. We are expecting this will reduce the lot of hassle that people are getting currently. Then there is another thing, actually, this is scalable. I hate to use the word scalable many times because nearly in every presentation, this word is being used one way or the other. And this is a common problem. We are also having the same issue, especially if it is a multi-tenant and long-running server, this problem is there. So what we are now looking into that, for example, currently Oozie can handle 100,000 jobs per hour at most. But all on a sudden, my load increases to 200,000 jobs per hour. My data is increased. How will handle these types of scenarios? To handle this, we are planning to provide a normal load balancing or hot type of solution that people are using in different services. What we are planning to do is we'll ask to use another Oozie server, bring out a box, and add in another Oozie server there. And these multiple Oozie instances will work as one entity and serve the user. But the challenge, you can imagine that how the work sharing will happen among the multiple Oozie instances. So this is a problem we need to address. We know this is not a very easy game, but people are doing it. We can get and leverage their knowledge and use it there. We are planning to use Zookeeper for coordination among the multiple Oozie instances. Having said that, in addition, we have some other future plan here, like those are common thing, automatic failover. That means primary is down, secondary should come transparently without any intervention. And then monitoring is another important feature. People are crying, that asking that, okay, my job finished, how Oozie can notify me, how I get the nose that actually my job is failed, why I need to go and check your UI. So these type of monitoring things, we are planning to provide a very rich web service API. We already have a common thing, but we want to increase it substantially so that people can get their status easily. Apart from this, there is usability point of view. DCP is a common usage. People can still use DCP in Oozie, but they need to write their Java code. But we want to give it a easy write for the user. So DCP, I want to do the DCP, I have to just configure it, and Oozie should take care of this. The same way that people can do it now, but they need to do some coding. We are about to accept it in the open source. In addition, there is asynchronous data processing. That means I have an application that does not depend on time. However, it depends on the data. I do not know when my data will come. It might come in 5 minutes, or it might come in 5 days. We don't know that. But Oozie needs to start my application as soon as my data is there. This is not a built-in there. We have a workaround, very dirty workaround, but we need to support it because this is a very common use cases. There is another use case is incremental data processing. And I want to give some announcement because I have some time constraint. Like, I am happy to announce that Oozie is migrating from GitHub to Apache, and it is being started. Currently, it is in the voting stage in the Apache incubator. I would suggest, I would campaign to all of you to participate in the voting process, and it will be ends in 72 hours. And we have a meetup that is coming tomorrow at 10 o'clock at Yahoo. Please try to join it and give your opinion. In addition, please give your all the opinions and comments and your suggestions in the mailing list and the GitHub. Currently, we are using it. Having said that, I would like to open up the question answer session if you have any. Thank you.